welcome to all of my friends in India. Please be assured that I'm comfortable in my home through the magic of Zoom. This is an artificial background, which makes it look as though I'm working in the office as I'm talking to all of you.
This meeting is being recorded.
So it's really fun to be here. We have plenty of time, so I'll be able to go slowly and make sure you understand everything I'm saying. And the purpose of this webinar will be for you to learn. So I'll start by sharing my screen. And we'll just start this from the first slide. Talk about optimizing your nutrition through cellular science and get some understanding of metabolism. Now, it was mentioned that I have quite a background, and you know, my role in Herbalife, I've been in nutrition research, teaching, and patient care for more than 40 years. I founded the nutrition programs at UCLA, including the Division of Clinical Nutrition and the Center for Human Nutrition. And since 2003, the last 17 years, I have been a consultant to Herbalife Nutrition as chairman of the Herbalife Nutrition Institute. And in that role, I conduct outreach to the scientific and professional community. You know, in India, I've been there many times. Talked to doctors and scientists, and we conducted research and published research from India. So it's been a real pleasure to be there on multiple occasions. As a matter of fact, later this morning, I'll be conducting a symposium for the American Society of Nutrition, which is an international society, on the role of protein as an anti-aging strategy. So that's kind of the work that I do. But my greatest honor, of course, is to get my ideas around the world in over 95 countries, working with you, the independent Herbalife distributors, who should be very proud of the work you do every day in extending nutrition and health to the public. I'm going to divide my training into two sections. The first section will be our nutrition philosophy and how it helps. And the second will be more practical advice on how to optimize your personal nutrition utilizing Herbalife Nutrition. So first of all, I want to talk about some major worldwide and Asia trends that also affect India and South Asia. Right now, millions of people around the world are overweight and obese, and this is truly a global epidemic that began about 1970 with the marketing of lots of these snack foods and also a more sedentary lifestyle with the increase of automobiles around the world and people driving rather than walking, etc. And so this has been a huge problem. Today, the overweight population in the world is 1.9 billion. And you don't have to be obese in order to have the problems associated with obesity. You can simply gather more fat in the central body, in the abdomen, and those 1.9 billion people who are overweight include many people who have too much fat around the intestines, as we'll talk about, which is an inflammatory fat that promotes a number of obesity-associated conditions, such as diabetes and heart disease, both of which are increasing in India. There are 650 million obese people as well. Now, aging is a significant problem. You know, these problems associated with overweight become more common as people age. And globally, 88.5% of the population is over 65 years of age. And we're now at a point where there are more people over 65 than under 5 years of age. And this is particularly true of Asia, which is older and aging faster than the rest of the world today. And the Asia aging rate is much higher today than it has been in the past. Now, in terms of public health expenditures related to obesity, many South Asian countries are spending a good deal of money in this regard. It has increased from 2015. It's proposed by 2030 to rise to $18 trillion per year. So a significant portion of the healthcare budget. There are more than 4 million shakes consumed every day. Herbalife Nutrition is the #1 distributor of meal replacement shakes and protein supplements around the world, millions of customers. And of course, this year we celebrate being in business for the past 40 years. So we're a very, very stable company. I remember when I first got involved with Herbalife, I called a Nobel Prize winner in economics at the University of Chicago. And I told him I was considering becoming a consultant to Herbalife at the time. And at that time, they'd been in business about 23 years. And he said to me, well, those types of businesses are more stable the more longer they've been in effect. So today, with 40 years of history, 17 years since I joined the company as a consultant, Herbalife's a very stable company, and you should have confidence that this is one of the finest global nutrition companies today. It is so because of the distributor difference. You know, the independent Herbalife distributor is able to personalize our programs to support each individual's need through education, nutrition products, supportive community, and a healthy, active lifestyle. Connecting person to person, we're doing this very high tech today with Zoom. I'm going across the world without having stepped on an airplane. But in fact, person to person, by any means, allows you to make that personal touch. So high tech and high touch, that's what Herbalife is today. Now, we have a wonderful group of experts that I work with at Herbalife. First of all, and I'll go through these one at a time, but this just shows you the range of experts that we have who form the team at Herbalife that is behind your nutrition education and should give you great confidence. First of all, Dr. Louis Ignarro, winner of the 1998 Nobel Prize in Medicine and Physiology for the discovery of nitric oxide, is a colleague of mine at UCLA. When he used to teach pharmacology, then I would teach nutrition. I would often follow him and see the ends of his lectures. Dr. Kent Bradley is our new Chief Health and Nutrition Officer. Susan Bowerman is my dietitian of many, many years. And Dr. Luigi Groton, who many of you have met, was my fellow. I've known him since he was 20 years old. He's almost like a son to me. And here we have Dr. Bill Frankos from the United States Food and Drug Administration, and my good friend, Dr. Steve Hennig, who is Chief Science Officer Emeritus with a great history in the food industry, and Dr. Gary Small, the Professor and Director of the Center for Longevity at the University of California, Los Angeles. And then, of course, Dr. Rocio Medina, who I met in 2006 at the University of Monterrey in Mexico, and she trains all of our Spanish-speaking distributors around the world in excellent fashion. Dr. Groton started an emphasis on fitness, and that really took off with the addition of Samantha Clayton, who is our exercise specialist, and Dr. Dana Ryan, who has a PhD in exercise physiology. Along with Dr. Bill Frankos, who does our global safety, Christy Applehands is now also our Senior Director of Global Post-Market Medical Surveillance. And we do post-market surveillance better than anyone. We're able to retain information on up to 95% of the products that we sell through our independent distributors around the world. And then we've also added on another dietitian, Michelle Ricker, who I met at a gene nutrient conference at the university. And Laura Chacon Garbato has been with the company for many years, an expert in outer nutrition and skin health. Then in our product area, where I spend some of my time that I don't spend in training, there's Dr. Mike Yatsila, our Senior Vice President of Research and Development, and Gary Swanson, our Senior Vice President of Quality Assurance and Control. And I'll have more to say about our products in a little bit. Now, in addition to those notable experts, we have an amazing nutrition advisory board with doctors from around the world, all of whom are university affiliated. And I'm very proud of this particular group. In every country around the world where we work, we try to have training by these doctors. We don't have a doctor in every single country, but in most of the countries around the world. And we also have a dietetic advisory board. The Dietetic Advisory Board is directed by Susan Bowerman, my dietitian of over 20 years. And many of these dietitians give you the practical information about food products. And we're very proud that in India, Shreyashi Motra is our dietitian for India. And this allows us another very good area of training with particular food recipes. And this has been a change in the tradition of Herbalife. You know, we sell wonderful products that I'll tell you about, but they work together with nutrition and a healthy, active lifestyle. Now, back to our products. After cultivation and harvesting, we test the products to make sure they have the correct phytonutrients. So our raw material is tested. We test again after blending. We test again after packing, and all of our packages have a sticker for following temperature and humidity to make sure the products arrive in good condition, and we test them after transportation. We also keep about 5% of the product for future testing should there be any kind of a technical processing issue with a product. We're able to then get the original product and correct it very quickly. So our philosophy is from seed to feed, from the time we cultivate the product in the field until the time the product gets to you and you open that Herbalife can. You'll have a safe product, and whatever is written on the outside of that can will be inside the product, and we assure you of that. So our science and manufacturing expertise, we have more than 300 scientists and PhDs under the direction of Mike Yatsila and Gary Swanson. We have amazing global manufacturing facilities, the largest being in North Carolina in the United States, 800,000 square feet in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. We also have an innovation center at Lake Forest in California, and innovation centers in Suzhou, China, and Changsha, and a new research center in Nanjing, China. We also manufacture at contract manufacturers around the world, and there's one in Italy that manufactures for Europe. I have started the Herbalife Nutrition Institute in 2010, dedicated to promoting knowledge in the fields of nutrition, exercise, behavior, and public health. And our outreach to many organizations through conferences and symposia and publications is a fantastic thing. And we've conducted about 10 studies under the aegis of the Herbalife Nutrition Institute. Now, in addition to that, to reach out to everyone around the world, I have a daily Instagram post. And today I was posting on the topic of nutrition and immunity. And all of these posts are under 60 seconds in length. By simply going onto Instagram and searching Dr. David Heber, you'll be able to get daily education on nutrition. And I have over 1,300 posts, which are stored there on that particular site. I also have our websites, but this is very, very accessible and not too time consuming. So I urge you to go there. I would tell you that among my audience of over 178,000 followers today, one of the primary places is Mumbai, India. And the primary age category is 25 to 34. So in India is we see countries that have malnutrition and obesity at the same time, and we call this the global nutrition transition. Now, India, with 1.2 billion people, is the second most populous country in the world, and is currently experiencing this global nutrition past is every single day, because if you don't drink enough water, it'll affect your mental performance and your physical performance. So what does water do? It contributes to the maintenance of normal physical function and also mental function, keeps your body temperature normal, helps you with food digestion, and overall helps to keep you healthy. So if you don't have enough water, then you could have altered mood, you could be fatigued, reduced physical performance, muscle fatigue, headache, and even muscle cramps. And a water loss of only 2% is enough to have a negative impact. Now, vitamins and minerals are extremely important. They're found in fresh fruits and vegetables. As I mentioned, our Formula One also has vitamins and minerals. And many of these essential nutrients have a direct impact on your immune system. 75% of the world's population does not consume enough fruits and vegetables. And as I told you just a few moments ago, that's also true in India. So we have a wonderful Formula 2 multivitamin, mineral, and herbal tablet. These are specifically designed to work with our Formula 1 and other products of Herbalife. So this is something I urge you to take every single day. It is a form of nutrition insurance that if you're not getting enough vitamins and minerals in your foods, you'll get them from these tablets. Now, vitamins and minerals that support immune function include vitamins A, C, and D, vitamins B6 and B12, copper, selenium, zinc, iron, and folate. And many of these may be at low levels in your diet. Especially folate, for example, was found in many places in the United States to be deficient, and also in India to be deficient in the food supply. And these are very, very important vitamins and minerals. Now, the next topic is fiber. Fibers are both soluble and insoluble, meaning that the soluble fibers are digestible by your gut bacteria. You have 14 trillion bacteria in your intestines called the microbiome, and the fibers feed the healthy bacteria. Now, the indigestible fibers are not digested by your body or by the bacteria, but they help with the motion of your intestines and regularity. So it's very important for everyone to get 25 to 40 grams of fiber every single day. Now, the Indian RDA recommends 40 grams of dietary fiber per day. As you can see in this slide, the soluble fiber swells in the stomach and helps with satiety. And then through the intestine, the soluble fiber feeds the bacteria while the insoluble fiber stimulates intestinal movement. Fiber sources are plentiful in the diet, but many of them have extra calories, whether it's edamame or breads or nuts. They also have more calories. Now, what we have here is an active fiber complex and activated fiber tablets, which provide you the fiber without all of the extra calories. So it's very good to have this in addition to supplement your total fiber intake, since it's possible you may not be getting enough fiber from your diet. Now, healthy fats are also very important. You know, in the 1980s, we thought all fats were bad. That's not true. It's important to have fats in your diet. They improve the taste of foods. They keep the temperature of foods warm. However, you need to have the right fats. So I'm not worried about you're getting enough fats. You'll definitely get enough fats, but it's the type of fat in your diet that is the major concern. Now, throughout evolution, mankind evolved on a plant-based diet. And in plants, the ratio of two types of fatty acids called omega-3, found in fish oil and fish oils like corn oil, was about 1 to 3 to 1 to 6. However, in a typical diet today, with all the processed foods, the ratio has gone up to 1 to 20 or even 1 to 30 because of hidden fat, mostly omega-6. And so what we have to do is reduce total omega-6 by eating a lower fat diet and increasing omega-3. And we've actually conducted a study with Herbalife products in Taiwan that demonstrated that. And this was also duplicated in a study in the United States done by the National Institutes of Health in the United States. So lowering fat is a good thing as you change this balance, because when you lower fat, you lower omega-6. When you take fish oil or eat ocean-caught fish, you increase omega-3. Now, omega-3 has many benefits: normal heart function, normal brain function, normal blood pressure, normal blood fats called triglycerides, and normal vision. So omega-3 is very important. It's part of our evolution. It's something your body needs. Now, the products containing omega-3 that we have, of course, are Herbal Lifeline. This is an omega-3 which contains eicosapentaenoic acid and docosahexaenoic acid. These are the two essential fatty acids from omega-3, and these fatty acids help with all those benefits I just talked about, and these are very pure products as well. Now, exercise. Now, this was never a part of the old Herbalife program 40 years ago, but now we appreciate how important regular moderate intensity exercise is to maintaining immune function. You want to exercise anytime. I like 30 to 45 minutes a day, 5 to 7 times a week. And this can be any type of purpose-driven exercise you enjoy. We have a number of free exercise videos available through Samantha Clayton's work in our nutrition performance group. And on many of my videos, just last week, I did something on performance nutrition, discussing the principles of how protein and carbohydrates work together with fats for optimum exercise. Now, rest and sleep is very, very important for immune function. The studies shown here, done at the University of California, San Francisco, showed that if you sleep less than 5 hours, you have a 45% chance of getting the common cold. On the other hand, if you sleep more than 7 hours, the chance is reduced to 17%. So sleep deprivation can really compromise your immune function. It's very important to sleep well. And we have a program for doing that. Basically, 3 hours before you stop eating. 2 hours before, stop working. And 1 hour before you go to sleep, stop all your screen activity working with your smartphone. So what I normally do when I sleep, I wear my smart watch. It monitors how many hours I sleep and my heart rate. And that's something I can review because it's synchronized synchronizes with my smartphone in the morning when I wake up, and I can see how I slept, and then develop sleep hygiene habits so that if you wake up in the middle of the night, you force yourself to go right back to sleep. Don't wake up and think it's a chance to work some more, because you're simply going to be depriving your body and your brain of the rest it needs. So during sleep, your brain recharges itself and is ready for the next day so that you'll be at your best. So the idea of cellular nutrition is that every cell in your body needs proper nutrition. Our body is made up of trillions of cells, and these cells are each function to make energy for your body, and they have energy factories called mitochondria. And so all the cells of your body must get the proper nutrition. So many of the nutrients that we take in to our bodies ultimately make their way to the individual cells. And this is true of the immune system as well. You know, the immune system is made up of cells, white blood cells of different types that have different functions, and they also require optimum nutrition. And so it's very interesting that 70% of our immune system is around the intestines, and the bacteria in our microbiome interact with our immune system and help us to develop the proper immune function to recognize what is a friendly food or what is an unfriendly food. So I think the big difference of cellular nutrition from ordinary nutrition is, instead of looking at things at a macro level in terms of the whole body, we do that as well. We go all the way down to the cellular level, including the cells of the bacteria in your gut. And actually, as an organism, we have more bacterial cells than human cells. We have 14 trillion bacteria in our bodies, and 99% of the genes in our body are the bacterial genes, not our human genes. So we're really made up of bacteria on and in our bodies. So it's important for you to have the right amount of protein. If you take in more protein, your body will simply break that protein down and turn it into carbohydrate and then into fat and store it. Now, if you take, for example, after exercise, at least 20 grams of protein optimizes muscle protein synthesis. However, if you take in 30 or 40 grams, there's no harm to your body, and it may actually benefit you a little bit in terms of reducing your appetite. Now, in general, we like to have less than 30 grams per meal. And so you might ask me, well, how does a very large person get all the protein they need? Well, they eat more meals per day. So it's not uncommon for me to have very large athletes, football players in the United States who have 8 meals a day, although most people have 3 to 5 meals a day. So you should split your total protein requirement, 1 gram per pound of lean body mass or 2 grams per kilogram of lean body mass, between 3 to 5 meals per day. So I've been studying soy protein for over 30 years, and in my laboratory, we have studied the antioxidants found in soy that are called soy isoflavones. And these two are called genistein and daidzein. Now, what happens is they are falsely called phytoestrogens, but they are in a sense estrogens, but they have a very weak effect. So the phytoestrogens have 1/1000th the effect of the human estrogens that are produced by your body fat, by ovaries in women, and by the testes in men. And this, so in any organism, human or animal, where there are intact gonads, this acts as an anti-estrogen, not as an estrogen. Unfortunately, there were some studies done in mice where they removed the ovaries from female mice and fed them soy protein with an implanted human tumor. And in that condition, where there's zero estrogen in the body, the tumor is able to sense even those low levels of estrogen. However, in all humans, women and men, before and after menopause, the body fat produces enough estrogens that the soy estrogens are insignificant. Now, another reason for this is, of course, competition from the dairy industry, and saying things like, you can't call soy milk, milk only comes from a cow, you have to call it soy beverage. So there's been an ongoing campaign of negative information about soy. Now, and in terms of men, soy does not cause breast formation in men. This is a misimpression. Does not promote breast cancer or prostate cancer. These are all misimpressions. If anything, in most of the research, these help to prevent cancer in animal models. So the data on soy is quite significant, and positive. And you still, I have to say that negative information is hard to overcome. So if you find somebody with an aversion to soy, you have to offer them some other alternatives. But you should be aware that soy is perfectly safe. The word phyto is a root meaning plant, so it's a plant-derived nutrient. I don't use the word phytochemical that some researchers use because I think the word chemical is wrong here, because it's a nutrient in that the phytonutrients are bioactive substances that have a positive effect on the cells of your body. So, for example, green tea contains catechins in it, which are antioxidants that are beneficial in many ways to the body and have effects on the cells of your body. Similarly, lycopene found in tomato and red pepper are also beneficial. The pomegranate has elagitannins, which I have studied. There are about 124 phytonutrients in the pomegranate. I've studied them since 2002. So that's another beneficial group of phytonutrients. Altogether, there are about 10,000 phytonutrients. So the easiest way to deal with this is to look by color, because, you know, humans and birds have color vision. All the dogs and cats and so forth, they're all color blind. Primates, monkeys, of course, have color vision. And the idea is to pick colorful fruits from a green background. So there are 7 different color groups that I developed in my What Color is Your Diet plan. And if you get 100 grams of each of these 7 groups per day, that's 700 grams. Somewhere between 5 and 700 grams would be fine, 5 to 7 servings per day. You'll only get about 500 calories, but you'll get a lot of phytonutrients, antioxidants, vitamins, minerals, fiber, and water. And by pushing toward more fruits and vegetables, you change the overall dietary pattern to make it healthier. So phytonutrients are very important, and it's something you're going to be hearing a lot more about in the future, because this has been one of my major missions here at Herbalife. And of course, soy protein isoflavones are an example of phytonutrients. Fasting has become a very popular method of dieting, but really it's just an expansion of what we normally do. So normally everyone should get 7 to 8 hours of sleep per night, and that means you're fasting when you're sleeping because you're not eating. Now, intermittent fasting now extends that to 12 hours. And that means that from, say, 6 p.m. at night, pleasure center, the same place where drugs of abuse and alcohol and smoking interact. So there are many people who have a sugar or sweetness addiction, which promotes their overweight and obesity. So by balancing sugar and making it counteract certain bitter tastes, for example, protein by itself is bitter. So you have to have some sugar there to make the protein palatable and taste good. And then that's why natural fruit sugars are very healthy for you. And so we recommend that you only use artificial sweeteners when needed to adjust the taste of an otherwise healthy product.